Il Aou, je ne suis pas payé pas ou payé pas. Agége, Disenzi, Amouani, Mama. Aou, jeunesse sociale. Ouliri, il y a quelqu'un. Amène-moi d'abord. Money again, money again. Money again, money again, money again. Money again, money again, money again. Oh, that's the way. What is the way I'm again? When I'm by you, they will pay you one way. Moti woga, abi akoya ne moti woga. Ono ba moni, wa be so elu anu. Oh, thank you for the baby about you there. Hey yo, even I about you there. You got you, about you there. Better yo, about you there. About you there. About them, about them. You want to do again, my own. Make you deal. People are making deal. You get I'm a body. Without the body. I'm the band on you. What's the band on you? That's your name. What can I say? Who have faith? That's your name. You never say, I ain't your no. About you then. About them, what about you? Everybody's in one way. My brother, Papa, my brother. What have you? Everybody's in what have you? Moquano, Moquano. Let you do one way. Let you do one way. One way, one way.
All right, good evening, folks. Welcome. I'm Alfonso Z and so of the Liberia Public Radio and Lpr-Tv. We want to welcome our viewers and listeners across the globe. Thank you for being here this evening. Taking you to the southeastern side of Liberia. And this is Kurumi making a contribution here this evening. I hope I'm audible. Just give me a thumbs up. Whoever's following, Vicky, welcome. Goswell Collins, Eugene, Antonin Gay, ANC member. Stan, good evening, welcome to her as well. I am Alfonso Zienso of the Liberia Public Radio and Lpr-Tv. If I'm audible there, just give me a thumbs up. Let me know so I will know exactly how far we stand. This is your informative news magazine, All Things Considered, right here from the coming to you live this evening, actually from the Bay State. You will find out I'm not in studio. That's part of our calling. That's part of our journey. Let's start the conversation going right here, right now. Okay, good evening, welcome, welcome. What a sad day for those in the media, those of our intermediate industry. A legendary, a true son of Liberia, an icon. Uh, Philip Wissett of the Inquirer newspaper, his life ends according to reports coming from inside Liberia. Legendary Philip Wissett, he died from protracted illness. Wissett, he's a managing publisher of the Inquirer newspaper. A major news outlet reported this as a result of he had a protracted illness. We all know, most of you know, or some, but he was taken to Ghana, a lot of treatment, it was a difficult, the end days of Philip Wisse, one of the funniest media icons. His end point, his journey was a painful one, but he died according to front page and family sources reported that. So that's the end of Wissett. But recently he was conducted into the Hall of Fame of the President of the Republic of Liberia. So I'm not sure how that came about, but that how it ended and his journey ended. Philip Wissett, one of the funniest in this business, managing publisher of the Inquirer, famous Inquirer's newspaper in Liberia, reportedly died this morning, according to news report from Liberia. So that is a sad one, and we must. So it's a silent. He gave a lot. He sacrificed. My guy here, as usual, they are always here. Someone please do me a favor if I'm audible. Maybe do it if I'm being audible. Please give me a thumbs up. I'm out of studio to this evening. I'm not even, for some reason, I'm not using my mic, but I'm quite sure if it was so, I know my folks here at LP are very good at that. They were given a signal. So that's the situation there. I'm Alfonso Zienso of the Liberia Public Radio and Lpr-Tv. Okay, thank you so much. Thank you so much, Jonathan. All right, he getting me loud and clear. Thank you so much. Okay, so that's it here. Let's see here, and we can get him off. And our guys here, we can get a conversation going here. Good evening and welcome. I'm Alfonso Zienso of the Liberia Public Radio and Lpr-Tv, right here as usual. Time check here is 8:10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, right here in the East Coast. Senior contributors and analysts of the Liberia Public Radio. Graduate assignment, Jennington Doleke is here this evening as well. I hope the Liberal are going to be here, but interestingly, as usual, we always like to make news proportionate and bring it to you as it is, so that you know what's going on. We don't just bring it around our country alone, but we must be our brother's keeper. We say good evening to all of you. Thank you for that ultimate sacrifice, always coming here to listen to us. Believe me, your tweets, your comment, your participation is what getting us to do what we are doing. Well, son, this guy is the military leader, the junta leader of Burkina Faso. Chief Lieutenant Colonel Paul Henry Santiago Domia reportedly sacked his defense minister, and he has meanwhile assumed the responsibility of defense chief. He's now in charge of the defense of Burkina Faso. This is how confusion, this is how trouble starts. Let me bring in Jonathan here. We're going to be going to all the issues, making news headlines in Liberia. Jonathan is a serious, is a supporter of the opposition's Alternative National Congress, ANC, but he here is an analyst of the Liberia Public Radio and Lpr-Tv. So we will see what happens here. Jonathan Tai, good evening.
Yes, good evening, Afonso. It's quite
All right.
wonderful seeing you again today.
All right. So let's see. Today is what? Today is Wednesday, right?
Yes.
Man, America, yeah, man, it's an equalizer. I shouldn't be what I am right now, but it is what it is. Sometimes when you assume certain responsibility, when no way to way, you may say you for beer. But anyway, it is why it is, and that's why we are trying to meet the American dream. So we want to say good evening to all our viewers, our listeners across the globe. Thank you to Goins, Gamin, David, Goet, and all of you, Matilda, and all of our many followers. Ducle as well. All of you will say thank you so much. And what we want you guys to do to begin to send in your some of your concerns and things you want us to talk about or things that we are not doing, so we'll do it rightly. Not just only the entertainment, not just only bringing the news, but there's some conversation we should be having and we are not having it because the media or the political sphere is so much saturated with a lot of stuff. So sometimes this sort of distraction kicks in here, but we intend to have variety of conversation, discussion here. So we will highly appreciate. And even for those of you who sometimes we say on this network, I'm going to be bringing you in here shortly, Jonathan. But these are our committed loyalists, fans, followers. We also have to make them to feel part of the process. And we'll start tonight. If you want to participate in some specific conversation or in some of the talking points that we are having here, or maybe you support a specific person, political party, or individual that you want them to be senator to representative, let us know. Send us here, send us inbox, and say, hey, you know what? I strongly believe in this person here, and he or she can get things done. And so I want to share that story with Liberian. Trust me, you don't have to be a representative before you come on this network here. Every Liberian, we want to make sure we should gain control of the narrative. Because when that happens, these politicians, these people that are looking for this job, they will know that we are off for business. And this is why we want to encourage you to please do that. If you want to, maybe who knows, sometimes you want to have we can put up something here like intellectual engagement. I won't say debate. They didn't do their debate. We'll say intellectual engagement among supporters. We can have here somebody can pretend to be the Cummins, somebody can want to be their Boyka, but make sure you wear that other hat to so everything strictly. Let's do a fast out of him, okay? Yeah, somebody want to be like the president, Dr. Weah as well. Come here and we can have that conversation. Nobody gonna put you on the post for that. You have the right to make your political pick. Okay, Jonathan, let's get the ball rolling. And please do us a favor to our many viewers. Just share the podcast for us, and so that others will be invited here. Okay, Jonathan, good evening to welcome. Hopefully, the Liberal and Sissit, the Tiawan Gonglo guy, they might be joining us here. So, one of the icons in the media industry, Philip Wisse, passed this morning. I'm quite sure you have monitored that development.
Yes, it is really heartbroken today for the media community. Philip N. Wisse, as many refer to him as Gina, he has been one of the tireless contributors to the forward march of our democracy, using the media, disseminating information through standards and ethics, because his media engagement has always been from the ethical background. He has been fearless in his advocacy to see that media report freely the happenings of our country. He had developed so many minds, or he developed so many minds, and it is just disheartening to hear this time that you know he had left the face of the earth. We pray and hope that his soul will find a resting place in the celestial kingdom of God. But it is quite drawback to our media community. No matter how sickness may have faced these kind of characters, there are characters that need to be around to guide the process, to give motivation and encouragement to the media entity. However, he has contributed his quota, and so God has called him. Those who have learned from him should pick up where he stopped. He has an institution that is viable, vibrant in Liberia, the Inquirer newspaper. And I just like to say sorry to the bereaved family, sorry to Liberians, sorry to the fourth estate.
Yeah. What would be do you think, what going to be the survival of that institution? Because he's been sick, Gina, like you call him. And I hope to maybe find time and get legendary T Max Gilate. He was a contributor on the 50-50 until things got out of hand. Signal kind of like overpowering, no more strength that much to the extent. And only for us to hear that today. What impact do you think you're going to have on his institution? Do you think it should be able to be sustained, or folks that are there should manage it? I will try to reach out to them and see what next. What would be the fate of the Inquirer newspaper? Inquirer being around for quite a little while now.
Yes, it is normally a challenge for Liberian institutions, and there were the aspect of government, or there were the aspect of system management comes into play. But again, there are other institutions that have been struggling after the death of its icon, like in Democrat case, and they keep surviving somehow. I think with Mr. Wisser, the late, may his soul rest in peace again, the way he instituted his institution, or he put into place his institution, I'm of the view that the Inquirer will live. But what I know of sure is that the media institution go through turbulent times naturally. And whether the person, the founder or the CEO is alive or not, the owner, it is natural that they are going through tough times. And then coupled up with the person who inspired the work to be done not being present, indeed it's a natural challenge by itself before some of the connections and what he brought to the process seemed lacking, and then it has to struggle through it all. But we can hope for the best for the institution.
Yeah. Of lately, I believe he was just in his end times, and the president of Liberia. This is where sometimes, um, we don't. Oh my goodness, here we come again tonight. Oh Lord Jesus. Ah, all right, I have no choice. I just absolutely have no choice. No choice. But he was recently inducted into the Hall of Fame of the Press Union of Liberia when he was no longer active. What about distinction to being awarded that he could have gone out there to celebrate? That did not happen. Let me be gracious here and speak the big book magnanimous to welcome the liberal progressive of the Liberia Public Radio from Saxton, Sacramento. Man, I love your African Sherman, man.
But what do you mean by you want to be gracious? What exactly you're welcoming me and you're trying to say I want to be?
I'm
You have
gracious
no
to
choice.
I'm gracious to welcome the
Thank
liberal
you,
progressive.
thank you. Good evening, Mr. So, Jay. Good evening.
Good
Uh,
evening, Mr. Toll.
yeah, out of the gate, as I've always stated here, Mr. So, when we come to this gathering, on a very serious note, we speak our mind, but we are not perfect. And so, I have ability to compartmentalize things, whatever that I have to do. And I also have the ability to say if I'm wrong, to say that I'm wrong. And I will eat crow. And it's one of those here tonight. And
You
I'll do
equal
this and
tonight?
do it at the end again. Last night we had a conversation about Louis Brown.
This is quite fascinating.
Yes, it is. We had a conversation about Louis Brown. And I listened to the conversation with Louis Brown and on Spoon just a little bit. And I took that little bit of it and decided to run with it. To say Louis Brown endorsement, just that, which it is. It's just one individual. But what I didn't take into consideration, how much education Louis Brown provided on that Spoon Talk, not only for endorsing Cummings, but that he was able to clearly provide some serious learning, teachable moment for all of us. And I want to say here publicly that perhaps I should have taken one or two steps and looked at it. But I equal on that. There's no question that. But what I also want to take out of this is that Louis Brown, for some reason, they decided to bring in. It was Kev who brought in, and I listened to the entire program after our conversation last night. I spent all day listening to it, and Kev brought in Eugene Falcon. He was hoping perhaps, I'm not too sure, to rattle the cage of Louis Brown, but it was not the case. It was not the case. And I think they try everything, especially Dr. Lester Turner, who then got on there and started speaking Crown English. And Louis Brown told him, "You can't do that to us. Your PhD, your English cannot go to Tour Town. It has to be proper here tonight." And overall, Mr. So, I think what I took from that conversation was that these people, if they do like that, if they go after Louis Brown like that, they pretty much, from my own belief and my own perspective, I think they're running campaign for Cummings right now. The more you go after Louis Brown, the more Louis Brown becomes eloquent in his explanation, and the more people, the educated people, would then start gravitating towards Louis Brown explanation, and Louis Brown continue to say it at the end of any other statement, any opportunity here, is that we will beat you people that will beating drum. And as he said over and over and over, people on a set, it seemed to me that they started believing that. And I think when you do that, you're hurting yourself. But I just want to say this here, that perhaps my uh, uh, anxiousness,
I mean, you're not, baby. Talk good. You don't stutter here. Talk. Let the people
Mr.
hear you.
So, when you get me on the bike foot, that doesn't mean I'm on the ground. I'm liberal. I evolve. You know
You're
me. I
talking
don't have no.
respect. You're
I don't
talking
have no
respect.
shame face. If I'm
You're
wrong,
talking
I tell you that.
respect this evening.
Mr.
You don't
So, that English that I'm crying speaking, so English can be hard too. It can be hard. So I gotta look for the word. First, I speak it in my crown, darling. Then I try to find the English that will fit it in my crown. It's a difficulty. It's
carry
a
on. Carry on. We're listening. The people are listening. And so,
okay.
what happened?
So I not taking back, but I
Yeah.
think that perhaps it was not timely. Let me put it. My comments last night, my
Don't get offended.
defensive, my
You be honest.
defensive,
No, listen. You try. Nobody pull finger in.
Mr. So now
No,
you're getting ready
listen.
to
No,
derail this
listen.
conversation.
Let be real. I like this step. I like this sort of true confection when it's taking place. It reassures our members that we have the ability, when we made these mistakes, we should come back, because if
The
we are
mistake was
taking,
not about me defending Dr. Bakai. The mistake
hold on.
was me coming out and dismissing how educative subject matter that was being brought into the conversation. The educational aspect of it was what I diminished, and I think that was wrong. I also think in terms of Louis Brown presentation was beyond reproach, and I also dismissed that, And I think as an educated person, that was also wrong. And that's what I'm saying. But my own defense of saying to you that Mr. Louis Brown is an individual, and so we're not afraid, I stand by that. And then Dr. Baca and the people that don't know me, I'm just saying me and whoever that are on that side with Dr. Baca, we're not afraid. We're not afraid. But here's the interesting thing, though. If you watch that video, Mr. Soul, these people will come together. If you watch that video and you listen to Louis Brown addressing Mo Ali, at every corner Louis Brown turns, you'll say, we have to work together. We're not here as enemy. In fact, Mo Ali says that. So these are people that Louis Brown will say, Kumi is the
My
best.
man,
So I think they're going to come together.
forget that 1 year. That would be make your confession. You see the people now.
Mr. So I just did that. And you don't expect me.
So you were on the wrong side of history yesterday. Is that the case?
No, I just dismissed. I was very dismissive. Let's put it that way. Continuously dismissive.
Simplify that English word for me, please.
I put it down. I put it down like baby poo poo, and that's supposed to be like that.
My Lord, done it for me. He healed us.
Done it for me. Hallelujah.
He healed us.
Ah, my
You
goodness,
know,
Mr.
the
So,
old man up there sometime.
Mr. So, I don't expect. But anyhow, that's what we do. If we say something that is, we're not bigger than any other person. If we do something here on this platform, we're truthful to ourselves. And we will say those kinds of stuff, because what good would it do me for me to know that that I was very dismissive and I shouldn't have been, and then keep it to myself? It's not, it won't do me no good. But it's off my chest. I'm happy to have that conversation. Thank you very much for the opportunity.
Yeah, all right, excuse me. I mean, it is why it is, and I think honesty is very good. This is something that is very very difficult for people to do. On it, under the cloud of darkness, they want to sort of confess, which is not good. And I think we have, for us that are having these sort of conversations, we have to bring high degree of integrity, honesty. Well, we are human. We are human. We're gonna slip somewhere down, but we must be courageous to come back here and I talk to our people who also put in valuable time. Some of them could be getting their nap for work. Some of them take the risk. They are at work. They're doing those things, and they could be caught to say, "Oh, she shouldn't be doing this." But the reason I believe in is primarily for their country, because they want to know what is going on within their country. And so it is sickening to some of us when these people take up their valuable time here in the US, Australia, Liberia, and other parts of the world. And then you see people who are facilitators, who are analysts, who are commentators, and more or less they turn the conversation into entertainment. Entertainment is a great component of news that we cannot divorce or so, but sometimes it's just over the top and it becomes so ridiculous to the extent that the people don't understand. Some of them have to walk away or they will have to stay because of the loss of their country. So I think it is a good thing. It is a challenge to us because they depend on us in the sense that we talk to people, not that they don't talk to people, but they also to come to hear these the voice happening within their country in order to make informed decision. And so it is important moving forward. We should, everybody should to take heed. And I said that yesterday, and I have to repeat that again. Our sister network, they are doing an extraordinary job, Mr. Waterspoon and his folks. But there are things they need to work on. And it is disappointing that, even including us here, I, as a chief angle here to Mr. Toe, who is still not catching up to even conduct his own program, which is okay.
I think this conversation is most likely going to go south very quickly here tonight, Mr. So, because I
No,
think right now,
on a serious note, I mean, you people can't even joke with you ever.
this is a platform where we come in to discuss. I don't know you, you don't know me when we're on this platform.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. When we're on the platform, we're here to discuss Liberian issue. Because I don't want to stay on the platform as a liberal to even have a sense of agreeing with a conservative like you. That will completely derail my progress.
Okay. All right. Let her go. But look, on a serious note, all of us, or whether you're a supporter or whatever network you're a supporter of the government, the oppositions, I think there must be a high level of maturity, and respect for those that are listening, especially. I can come here and demean any of my analysts, contributor, right here on this network simply because something override means some sort of ego kicks in, and I just by mistake throw something. If I did that because something sort of injecting, I think I must come back in public here to say, folks, I'm sorry for what I did. Something trick or something, and I think I just acted over the board. And I think Mr. Witherspoon, he needs to understand that. Yeah, his faith. I mean, it has become like a culture, like a tradition, and the disappointing. And the reason I'm addressing this here too, we all must be also be held accountable and responsible for all of our action. The where his name, the Nathaniel McGee, the Jefferson Koji, the Samuel Tour, all of us we frown on the president not doing this, the president not doing this. That's another version of those sort of behavior. And when you have another grown up people there and he as a head doing this, and my guess no one have the guts to talk to him about that, then that's concerning. And media is a very powerful institution. It's a very
Mr.
powerful. Hold on 1 second. I know you're so appreciative. I'm coming. I'm going to give you your time. I'm saying this so that you know what happened in the world when from the Rwanda, the Kigali to radio station. That just was a simple word. Somebody could consider it simple. So we here, what we're doing here, we might not know the importance of it, but other people take up time and they listen and they can act on that because it factor in their head and it becomes a decision making process for them. So it is important that we do the best we can to make sure that the confidence of the public is there. Go ahead, Mr. United Nation.
No. What I wanted to say was that just from listening to them as a group, like you correctly said, they're doing a wonderful job, which we all agree. But I think my suggestion would be in order for those folks, because he's blaming certain people specifically like Mariah and stuff like that as being not respecting the rule that they've set together as a group. But what I take out of it is we're all Liberians. And if a Liberian man, you buy plenty, fly plenty, and put it down, the man will eat it, and the other piece, if he didn't like it, you will throw it out. But if you say, my man, you all bring money and you all put fasting together and buy plenty, even if that piece is rotten, once he take it, he will eat it because the money went in there. So basically, what I'm saying is, I think Witherspoon, why he's good at helping to run the organization, pay the bills, and what have you. I think even if you just have these people to contribute, maybe $50 a week or even $20 a week, whatsoever. Then the idea of they coming on what we know that your platform, because once that
How do you
statement.
know that they are not contributing? You always
But
pollute
Mr.
conversation.
So listen to the comment they make. We know that your platform. If they were contributing, you think they would say, we know that your platform? They won't say that. Most likely they will say, they won't even mention that. They won't even come to play. But sometimes they feel, and what you agree with Witherspoon on that? but they feel that because he come across like that, and because it's his platform, so he can do whatever he wants to do. Well, make them part of it. If you think there are people that you respect their opinion, let them pay some of the money into it. Even if you pay $1 million to run that, and you just ask them, each of you, $200 a month. As long they take 5 cents from their own pocket and give it to you, they will not come out and say, you do this thing here because it's your platform. They won't do that. But as soon as anybody come and say, because it's your platform, that person automatically go into the defenses more, and anything else they will not hold.
Okay, I know we want to have a conversation, but all of these are very important conversations. And in as much we look in the eyes of the government, the opposition, the advocates, people should also question about the authenticity we bring to these sort of forums and these conversations here. I'm not sure why people will make that. Janitor can make that kind of conversation here. We ask him to be a contributor. Of course, he nobody have any extra voice here than any other person here besides somebody just being the anchor. He can come someday, whether he want to be a facilitator, he can do that. But Jonathan, let me just bring you here. Liberal is giving justification because somebody said, oh, because it is your, oh, is that a logical reason for, if I were to behave like that, would that be a logical reason if Jonathan ever said that to do why would happen?
The first thing to have even made such a comment, I don't know, and like I didn't follow the show so well to know every word, every statement that was made, or to follow it conclusively. But I heard in certain areas by analysis that Mr. Waterspoon, for example, said he owns the station, he paid 50,000 or whatsoever the wage bill is in Liberia, and stuff like that. But what I think is that, I mean, for no fairness, you are invited me on this platform. I've been following in a very cordial relationship with all of you. I think there will not be sufficient reason why you want to place me in the back. I mean, when there is no true explanation to it. And I think that was the genesis of the issues. And so Mariah being placed in the back that brought about the conversation, I think her question was, if you claimed by a hearsay that Mr. Cummings was involved into war situation, then you have to state it in accordance with the facts. And she said she never wanted, and it's media related. You have to find a catcher point to hold the person to, using the law, using ethic. That is why ethic is very, very important into media. So if you want to say a particular thing, say a particular thing, it must be supported by some prima facie,
right?
Some source to say from this indication, from this particular newspaper, from this narrative, from this explanation, it is why I draw my clue from to think that it could amount to allegation. But to just try to mesmerize the people and just give an open statement of that nature, she felt that it needed to be corrected. And so and then where you see we miss people like Philip Wisser, because on the ethics, he's very strong. He's very strong. You will disagree with political party, you will disagree with government, but he will come to a point that he will lay it out why government is wrong, why a party or ordinary citizen may be wrong, or even media may be wrong per the way they disseminate their information. So I think it was overboard. But if you were to give me the opportunity to just have an open up from what I got on my chest, I would just like to quickly say, because I think it's just one of the things that we got to discuss. But I would just
tonight program just suit the situation. All things
Mr. ANC legislature analyst, because it is quite mentioned here, and somebody wrote here already and said the ANC legislature analyst here. So I just want to point out. But let me before we go on,
unbelievable.
Mr. Soul, Mr. Soul, I didn't say that. Somebody said that. I'm just reading. But no, Jay, let me just, first thing, Mr. Soul, what you pointed out is quite correct. but our platform is set up from the time uh, we started collaborating together. Uh, the platform is set up such a way that these kinds of things will never happen. And I'm not God, but will never happen here in this type of situation. Because first of all, you know very well, you were elected. You didn't come through the back door. And if you come here and try to put Samson or any of your people in the back, all we have to do is have an election. And you know that very well. This is a democracy at its best. So on that side, there's no election. He's a CEO, and the CEO, since he's a CEO, he does everything. And so even if you are doing everything like you do, because when we start counting the kind of equipment you've been sending home and what have you, they're just enormous. But at the same time, you in your own character, you don't feel like, okay, I do this, so I own. No, it's not like that. And secondly, Mr. So, you as an anger, which I dispute many of the time because it's my night, and I would say, yeah, I would say it. But on a very serious note, you as the anger, it is your responsibility to bring the best out of us as we come here to have conversation. The way questions are put to us, the way you allow us to explain ourselves, okay, the way you have issue raised and what have you. So there's not much room in here for anybody to be thrown in the bag. Uh, I like to talk a lot. Mr. George like to talk a lot. Sissy like to talk a lot. Jay like to talk a lot. So, but at the same time, we only have 2.5 hours, and it's never been a night since we've been on here that we'll cry. Oh, you didn't get a good time tonight. Said we didn't have enough time to. No, it's not like that.
You all were complaining here.
Well, about with me, my complaining part, forget it. I will continue
You
to
don't even
complain.
move me anyways.
Yeah, I will continue to complain. So my complaining part, I want that you got a long way to go. But the point here, Mr. So, is this: the way you handle us will always bring the best out of us, and we appreciate it. For me, and I believe Jay would say the same thing. If the Minnesota politician, if he wasn't engaged tonight, he probably would have been on here already. You know, but I believe he's doing something else that he's engaged. So
Okay,
he's not.
let me just bring it on here. Hearing you.
Minnesota politician can hear me, not here, Mr. So. Minnesota politician, not here.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, and the reason I'm pointing this out is, these are national conversations that we are having, and being the anchor, being a presenter or conducting the program, it is my understanding, and that's why when people come. I talk to them. Can you establish your political identity? There is a reason for that. Because of course, if I have Jonathan here who is a supporter of ANC, I have Samson Toy here who is supporting three different angles. We don't know which way he stands. And I have Sisse here who is a Tier 1 Gonglo person. Definitely, he's here to defend his politics. He's here to protect and defend his political leader or whoever you might call them. And that's part of the strategy. He's here to promulgate the agenda of the party or his leader. So he will be in a very arguable position. Well, there will be interruption, but that's where the anger comes in to stabilize it, to make sure that the conversation is civic. Nobody is jumping over another person, because why? You have to take into consideration the audience too. They also want to get a takeaway. And the audience that you are dealing with, they are from diverse background. They don't want to see their partisan coming here and just be like a spectator. And Mariah, she brings a lot to the table. She's always taking a strategic position. Remember, she is, I believe now, chief of staff or whatever, working closely with somebody who would be a potential presidential candidate. Do you think you're going to have somebody on a big, fabulous platform and then you just come and say something and try to? In fact, my guess, as a communicator, if Louis Brown endorsed, maybe say Joseph Boyka, and Mariah was on that panelist, I know exactly what role she was going to be playing. Louis Brown overran all of them because they were just not catching up. They brought in something that they were unable to really push Brown. And Brown, being a media guru, remember, this guy is a former Minister of Information, former person for the governor of the Republic of Liberia. You think you're just going to just throw some kind of day on him for you to sit down? That's what the guys did. And he came back and flipped the coins at Kev Hassan and threw it right back at the ruling establishment and making more words to say, hey, my NPP people, this is what this guy defines us to be. This is what this guy is telling us. So they knew that. So, but I hope they will sort it out because she brings a lot to the table. She always make an argument point. Sometimes I watch, not sometimes I listen to her watch. And people say, oh, the woman is this. Well, she is the mouthpiece of the network there. She is the mouthpiece of the network. So you don't expect her to be quiet. And that's why they don't really understand when Kev Hassan saying things too. Kev is there to propose saying in somebody Gary. And he's for the most part effective doing that too. Okay, so let's get a conversation. This is just a little bit thought to then share our own, and hopefully I just hope that the panelists are going to set it up because she made her position clear. It happened first, and she said when it happens again, she won't she will not show face. You don't want any of us. Nobody wants to be disrespected multiple of times. All of these things, people watching. So, but I hope they're going to sort it out because it was similar thing that happened with Reverend Martin. And you don't want to run an institution. You don't want to run an institution like you alone just can't. I alone can't come here all day and talk without Janiton, without Mr. Pain in the neck, liberal, and all of that. So all of those people, they are needed. So hopefully, my only concern is all of us here, and maybe let me just say it because we have said this between behind the scene. If any of us, if anybody, if I'm running ahead of my shadow here, Jennington has the right to call me to a point, whether it's in the public or whatever. Hey, yeah, Mr. So, but this is not. And Samson told he's good at doing that. And I think everybody should be given that authority to always speak out because we are here as a team, you know. And so if I'm doing something ugly, a janitor is unable to tell me something, is unable to tell me, that speaks a lot the integrity of this network. Then we shouldn't be holding other people responsible. Why this person not doing this? Why this person not doing this? So being in the media world does not give you that easy pass that you should do anything you want to do because you have the power to carry on the narrative. I think that is just unfair. Okay, so let's have a conversation here. All things considered, it's it can be crazy. So you saw the yesterday edition front page, right? The Senate frown on they're not going away with this whole pension bill. They are mad. They are upset with the lower house of government that they are not informed. They just do not know what they are doing. So this shows that these guys were really off a serious business. It's not just an ordinary letter. The origins of that letter, it comes in place because deeper conversation were held and there was some sort of concurring in terms of this is what we want to do. And so people say it's letter. Yeah, it's letter, but behind the letter, to what led to that letter for people to pen their signatures on that letter? There must be a reason. When you sign something, you approve, you agree, you concur with it. But for the Senate to come down now and frown on the lower house, not in support or what they are doing is not right, that is quite interesting. Jonathan, would there be a fight in the Senate over this?
Uh, I think there will not be a fight over the Senate about this, and then we'll have a time to speak later about what Louis Brown is good at doing. But let's deal with the Senate later. I will come and try to chip in there because it was the beginning of the conversation. But I'd like to say the Senate is on a slippery ground. We will try to communicate with some of the actors in the Senate there so that it can detour. I think for me, my place always in our democracy is what I can contribute to the process. If it is if it has gone wrong, how I can take ownership on where it has gone wrong and what I would have done as a formal notification, at least even if they were to do otherwise that I didn't do. And if they are not done it, how can I help to strengthen it for the greater interest of the Liberian people? And so I think I'll be calling some of the senators that we know and we are in connection with to see why is that it is embarrassing, number one, that the senators claim that what is in the public domain, it is not what they agree to. They also went further to say what went to the Senate and was read, to the House of Representatives and was read was not what they agreed to. What it tells me that it is a house of small. It is not a house of elders again. Because the house of elders must be guarded in accordance with administrative order. I listened to my brother and friend, the spokesperson of the Senate, struggling on OKFM with Julia Jay, Alfred Johnson, on the issue of what went to the House of Representatives did not represent what the bill was. So it means that in my mind, because I'll be very radical tonight, I think the Senate had given much more reason that we have always emphasized to be audited in the legislature, to be audited through the human capacity, whether the people that are working as staff there, they are competent enough to be there, probably because of relatives. So people are in the department, they don't know. That may be the reason. Because transaction between the House of Representatives or between the legislature and any area should be a serious transaction. So for senators to claim that what was given to the House did not represent, or what was in the public did not represent, I think it is just distasteful, and they have no ground to claim otherwise except to clean up that entire Senate. Lastly, the senators' decision to debate on the extravagant, astronomical figure attached to the pension scheme in itself is scary, because on the book we already have law dealing with lawmakers who are taking pension. So my question now is, what motivated them? When it comes to what motivated them, they must tie it in with who raised the bill, who sponsored the bill. For lawmakers from a committee room under the judiciary to not know who sponsored a bill, it means that there is greater reason why the U.S. government sanctioned a Vanish Sherman in association with 13 cases. Because every bill must have an originator, whether from the executive, whether from the ordinary citizen, whether from civil society group, whether from members of the legislature. There must be an originator of the bill.
So then, Liberal.
Yes.
Is it fair for us to ask the stern supporter of ANC, his party chairman? Let me get it right. I don't know if he's drinking. Okay, let me let him get a cold drink. His party chairman.
I hope he's not pulling Rubio style on us here tonight.
Michael. little Michael. Yeah. Don't you think he can tell us something? Perhaps he have had a conversation with the inner walls of ANC, his party chairman. Has he provided any explanation? Jensen, I think it's fair to ask you that question. You are a top insider of ANC. Is there any conversation ongoing? Because your party chairman, he's a very important figure into this whole thing. His signature is on that too, correct? Am I correct?
Thank you so very kindly. His picture is there as one of the senators who signed or who agreed to the passage of that bill for the Liberian Senate. We are currently in trying to get in possession of the wisdom behind why it was first thought so. It has given us much more muscle to follow periodically, very periodically, time conscious too, with legislative instrument at the Liberian Senate or the House of Representatives from the political party standpoint. That is why I always say, Mr. So, we have to hold ourselves responsible. I said it in our chat room. I said it. We hold the senators responsible. We hold the lawmakers responsible. Tell God thank you that this House of Representatives, where we also have other members of the ANC, are present, rejected this instrument. We are assuming that our leaders in the Senate made an error, and the best they can do for us is to willfully, in an uncoerced manner, give into our deliberation that that instrument was a mistake, it should be rejected, and those resources that they are requesting, for which they are not even making a fair contribution to, should go to the will of our ordinary grassroots, civil servants, security personnel who are struggling every day and making a quota to that very pension scheme we're talking about. I think the senator will gracefully accept, the chairman will gracefully accept. I don't need, that's how I say fact. I don't need to go to Mr. Cummings or Chairman Nathan and say this was a mistake and he must accept it, that we will drop this thing and look at the masses. Automatically, I can say already that Senator Nathan will accept that there was a gross error on that part, and what they did was not sincere to the bulk majority of the Liberians, unless what we also have on the board, that senators are taking pension, representatives are taking pension pay as we speak.
So, Leroy, is he answering my question?
So to answer your question is that Senator Daniel Flomo Nathan, chairman of the ANC, would assume that decision that was made, that it was wrong, that decision should not exist, and Liberians will be disinterested in him from the party standpoint if he should take similar decision, given the challenging movement that we have at hand right now. Remember that Senator Nathan was my boss. I just left from Liberia. I was the legislative research analyst in Senator Nathan's office. So when I'm telling you that he needs to accept, he needs to know that there was a mistake, he needs to understand that Liberians don't deserve such a bill with the wage bill already at hand.
So, Leroy,
Yes.
you listen to him?
Yes. Yeah, but I don't agree with any of that. What I don't agree with is that to take the bath water and throw it out with the baby syndrome is not something that is conducive for our evolving democracy. Now, the Senate came up with that, whatever they have about pension. They already have pension. Perhaps they need to improve, and I agree. But my point that I made before, and I'm continuing to make that, is this. These people were elected. They are not there to be frightened by Liberians. Every little time they say something that we don't like, we start threatening them and start threatening them with political retribution or vote retribution, whatever you want to call it. These people must have our support. And even if they've done something that is wrong, we should still show to those that perhaps are doing something good, to say, let's have a conversation. And so what I say onto this bill that the Senate come out with, I mean, if you look at it from another perspective, it is a good bill. We don't have the money at this time. We don't have any budgetary means to support what they're requesting at this time. But if you look at it, just like the how do you call it, the code of conduct law, those are things that actually support the democracy process in Liberia. If we, the Liberian people, will follow it at its core, we will be successful. What is Senate have come up with? For me, the way I look at it, it could be used to attract to attract like-minded, progressive, those who want to move Liberia forward. Because if you have these kinds of benefit, even if the money is not there now, but if this thing is can be tied to future endeavor, then perhaps you will have people of good character that will want to vie for these positions. Because if they leave their comfortable position here in the United States or even back home, and like for example, Amar Kone right now trying to get into the Senate. Do you really believe that Amar Kone need to go in the Senate, to make living? No. But perhaps he feel that he can contribute to the future success of the country. Because Amar Kone is not a stupid person. He already looked at the blueprint of future Liberia. He's claiming a stake in that right now. So if he was successful, because the future of Liberia Senate, the future of Liberian lawmakers, it's not going to be the Bugu dancer people all around here. It's not going to be. These people will be dislodged from these positions. There will come time, and not very long, that Liberian will say, you have not produced, you're going to get out. And people like Amar Kone are looking at the future, not too long distance future, where they can say right now, let me get myself in. Because there will be many people who will be coming on that will try to straighten things up in this country. Nope, in the next 4 or 5 election from now, my causing business will not happen in the Senate. You're not going to have anybody causing mine in the Senate or in the representative. You will have intellectuals that will want to debate the issues and take out the personality. And this is what we're going to. So I think the Senate bill here, for me, to be honest with you, I'm not frying on it. All that I can say to them is that because it is a good bill.
It's a good now.
No, as it is now, let me qualify that again. I made that qualification earlier, and that is right now there's not a budget to support that, Mr. So right
then
now
what
we
makes
don't
it
have the
good?
money.
If you don't, you're telling me,
Mr. So let me clear your mind. Let me disabuse you a little bit on this here. What I stated before, and that is, if there's a means for the send this bill to be tied to future income generating factors. For example, here in California, I work for the state as an engineer. So in the Department of Transportation, they tie their budget around gas tax. So if you go and buy gas, you pay a certain amount of tax. That tax go straight to the road, to the transportation department. So if the Senate can come up with certain things that will be beneficial to the Liberian, at the same time generate funds for them to carry out this process.
So let me ask you. We're having a conversation, and don't hesitate to come in, Jonathan. In California, you said you are making reference to California, right?
Yes.
Before it happens, I believe there are some work out. There are some other things to take into consideration to see whether if it is even applicable. Correct?
Yeah, but let us don't use California because it'll be bad for Liberia because there's so many things.
What you want us to use?
Let's just use Liberia. I'm just giving you a little example, but let's use Liberia, please.
Okay, because you are already on the crossword. That's why you're backtracking for. And the reason I'm saying that, you say it's good for the future. No, but here are these people. What they are even doing, if it is good for the future, they will try to address all of these issues as it relates to social security, the ordinary people, Liberia out there, people that are in their constituent, but they are in the tendency of always putting themselves first. So then what makes it good? When you can't
Mr. So, from speculation, I would say, putting themselves first. They've never been the past law, and I'm not going to just
you don't have the ability to pass laws good for people of Lokintown, people of Nikutown, people of Ghana.
I'm not. I think the legislature analyst can speak
No,
to that. But
you,
what I'm saying from my own
you
perspective,
providing the layer for it. You are the one providing the good layer for it.
common sense, Mr. So, these people were elected, and until we can come up with brilliant people at the House of Representatives and Senate, these are people that we have. Whether we like it or not, these are the people we have. So I'm just speaking common sense from that perspective. Now, the point that I'm making here, Mr. So, is when you say they put themselves ahead, that's perception.
No. Okay, let me be a little bit concrete here.
Okay.
In the midst of economic stagnation in the country, when ordinary Liberians finding it very difficult to get even $2 to eat a good meal or even have a lunch, what did they do? They put into law, because they knew then it would become inarguable. They put into law and awarded themselves heavily, financially heavily, at the expense of the Liberian taxpayer.
Mr. So, you're not being fair. You're not being fair. Because if this law was to be passed, it is not just tying it to the present occupants of these offices, but future officers as well. So for you now to say they're doing it to benefit themselves, then you're negating the fact that this is something you're putting in place that will benefit the future occupants of the offices as well.
Okay, let's bring in the man. He works in the legislature. Yeah, that's the name you gave me. So are you telling me the 35,000 or 30,000 K that those people they got at the expense of the Liberian taxpayer, they are doing it for subsequent lawmakers to come to also get that? Is that what you're saying? Who are you looking at?
Oh, you're talking to me?
Yeah, because you're so addicted to people.
Mr. So, when are we gonna? I mean,
no. You see, this is what you do. You say you're liberal. It is. I think, Jonathan, in the interest of fairness, this guy here, we need to expose this guy to the audience, because his liberalism is like, I don't know what sort of liberal he
Mr.
is, because he's
So, a liberal is someone who look at him from my perspective, from my definition. A liberal is someone who look at him from a whole broad
liberal are
perspective.
people who gay,
Mr.
who
So,
believe
you
in
see, this
sharing
is
wealth,
what
but
you do.
you supporting senators who do not believe sharing
I
wealth.
got you,
They're just
Mr.
taking
So,
wealth for
I have
themselves.
my own opinion. I must be allowed to express it. I'm saying this, that when you come in and say they're putting themselves above the Liberian people, that is unfair, because whatever they're putting together, it is not just to benefit them presently,
Okay,
which
who
is
this one?
this point. But
Who
the
this one
point,
benefited?
it's going to benefit anybody
The
who wants to be
30,000 K
senator
who will
in the
benefited.
future.
The
Excuse me.
30,000 who will benefited.
Mr. So, you can't just hold them to that. So, for example, if I become a senator tomorrow, if this bill passes, it's going to benefit me as well.
Asafulai, not in Grand Gida. Maybe you go to, I think the local will carry you somewhere, and they will not even take you. Jonathan, go ahead. We are senator. You will not be
Jesus
one.
Christ.
Don't even, Paramount, you say you can't be in Grand Gida. Go ahead,
Yes,
Jonathan.
yes. Mr. Tour spoke about the issue of the code of conduct. I'm interested in knowing what the impact or the implementation have been about the code of conduct. We have the Table Mountain Declaration, which relates to information and freedom of the press. We got a Camara, which all of us we appreciate and really see it as one of the major cards played by the CDC-led government to have the Camara pass 2019 February 7 that gives freedom of speech, unlike during the PRC term that it became something unlikable up to Charles Sutton. But I believe that these things are not still working for us. To pass the instrument, it is not just auto A. To pass the instrument, we must see the wisdom behind it and how truthful and effective we want to see such instrument work for the good of Liberians. So to say that the 30,000 or the pension scheme is for the rest of Liberians who will desire being representative, senator, speaker, president, vice president. What we are saying is a small segment of the greater population of the Liberian people who are living squalor lives, who are in abject poverty. The poverty we are talking about, it is not a poverty of going as far as my hometown in Kanwi, district number 8, or going in Zlatan, Bazon district in Grenjira County. It is about just struggling down Rock Spring Valley, where people have mosquito den, where people are living in a worst of condition, where electricity business is of serious concern. Most of the people are either people who are stealing current, though they want it, but they can't get it because they don't have no layout means by which the light pole should be able to come into those areas. So when you have your lawmakers making decisions at this time, and because you don't want to be seen as the one, because you championing change, to be seen as the one condemning your lawmaker and try to sugarcoat it, we say it is just equally deceptive on all of us part. That is why we are calling our lawmakers to say the 30,000, it was illegal, it was constitutionally a robbery, because the Constitution does not give you power to expend money because it is challenging for you to be audited. We hope that that mistake should never be repeated. Thank God that some of them are saying that they will not repeat it and they are rejecting it. It is based on our conscious advocacy that can compel them to do that. This pension scheme, matching our earning as ordinary Liberian, what we live on, our GDP, the performance of our economy in the pockets of everybody, and to the potato greens and pepper sellers in the markets, it is astronomical, it is irrational, it does not match the situation. If that's what I'll be looking up to contest an election, I should not be considered a lawmaker. To be a lawmaker is to hold the Minister of Public Affairs, Public Works, accountable while there's a bogus and irresponsible roads on the only highway to the international airport and claims to be a death trap. And if that minister cannot answer how it will be addressed quickly, that minister should lack the voter confidence to operate with. That's why I make you a strong lawmaker. To be a lawmaker is not just to sit there and take pay and salary. It's to advocate and challenge the government. Where the government fails, you take the government to court on those counts. That's what a stronger parliament will do. So I disagree with it today. I know that in our executive level, it's going to be a strong situation. We know that it's been reviewed. Some of us, we have made a public statement on it. We're going to write an op-ed on it, giving them reason how they can look at the future of Liberia in terms of looking at our senior citizens, looking at people in the armed forces who have performed, looking at people in the different security sector, looking at ordinary civil servants who will serve endlessly. Those civil servants work for 8 hours per day. Our lawmaker work only 2 times in a week, Tuesday and Thursday. Each of the time they work 4 hours. Those ordinary civil servants wake up 5 o'clock in the morning to get to work. The lawmakers passed law that they should have free access to the road. Even if it will cause them to use the opposite lane, they pass instrument to that. So that means our civil servants wake up 4 o'clock in the morning to get ready to go. Those lawmakers come by 9 o'clock immediately in the traffic and stay past them to go. And those civil servants struggle to get to work. They stay in office up to 5 o'clock, 8 hours. They take less pay. Lawmakers come to work 10, 11 o'clock. They spend 4 hours, work 2 days. You tell us that thing, we have to be serious. And those are the advocacy we are taking to Mr. Cummings Field, so that when we assume national leadership, we may be the more radical against that government in order to see that systems are implemented. But because we are convinced that he will do it, we have no doubt that he ought to execute it. That's why he looked into the lawmaker face, his own colleague face, and said that the 30,000 was wrong, it was illegal, and it didn't represent. Even if you agree, majority can be wrong. There are instances that majority can be wrong. That is why democracy is challenged. Because if it is just about majoritarianism without fair scrutiny, people might lead the wrong direction.
Mr. So, I think this is a wonderful, wonderful night. I think I'm going to enjoy myself to have the legislative analyst now calling himself. He's going to be radical here tonight. But what I want to say to my brother is radicalism does not equal to right. You can be as much radical as you want here tonight, but that does not make it right. Here is what I'm saying. I agree with everything you say. As a liberal, I'm on board with those kinds of thought. However, these people are they average whether they come to work 1 or 2 hours. That's the law, and we have to respect that. We can't unless we want to change the law. You can't make that law now to go against it as being part of the reason why you're going to reject whatever they bring up. Now, I understand poverty in Liberia is more. I understand, and that's why I keep making this qualification when I make this statement. I try to add on that this is not the time. However, I also want to say here that it is their duty. It is their duty as lawmakers to make law, whether the law benefit them now, but as long it is the law that say for Liberia. So anybody from Liberia can be a senator tomorrow. Anybody from Liberia can be a president, whatever. That law, if it was to pass, will still benefit that person. It is not specific. It is not date specific. Now, what I also want to say, Mr. So, put me back on there. I enjoy myself. Put me back on there, please. Mr. So, it's my night, isn't it? No, sorry, Dion night. Okay, Dion night. Do what you want to do. Operate it the way you want it. Okay. But the point that
doing it because I was getting a drink. That's
Mr. So I say, okay, I'm not fighting with him because that's your night. That's fine.
I don't know. You want to fight with people. I don't know why.
Okay, but let me finish my stay. I agree. I think this one I brought it on myself, so I'm not going to cry much on it. So interrupt me as much as you want because I think I brought it on myself, and I will be I will agree on that. But here's the point here. So, Jonathan, I agree with you on many of the assessment that you made here, which is okay. However, the lawmakers, it is their duty to make the law, and this particular law, even in as much as it sounds so ridiculous, because our people are not ready, and there's no budget to support such a law or such a bill at this time. I agree with it. But I also will argue that this law can be used to motivate some serious Liberian who will get into those offices and move the country forward because they will have a decent retirement plan. They will have they don't have to worry about going to the learning man to ask for money for retirement or going to steal something to put it aside for retirement or trying to make law to please certain people so that they will give them something for retirement, get brown envelope. These are the things that I'm looking at. This law, when it comes in at a particular time when the money is there, that will eliminate brown bag envelope, which is affecting our process of having a genuine democracy in Liberia. As a liberal, I think this is just a wonderful, wonderful law, except it is untimely.
You see, this is why you guys do and confuse the electorate, the citizen, and everybody. You want to be in two places at the same time. So when the kingdom comes out tomorrow, then you say, oh, I was not there. This is the same disingenuous attitude you get on this network here, Mr. Toe. A Liberty Party is a member, USA, not Liberia. A Liberty Party member, USA, not Liberia. But you are a chief financial to both USA and the Liberty Party in Liberia. Now, you want to be hanging like a hanging garden here. Is good, but not now. Then what makes it good? Who represent the government? Who is the government? Government for who? These people, they are just doing it because there is uncertainty. There is insecurity for them right now. They are not even sure. So, okay, I'm not sure I'm going to even get it. I'm going to get a shot next year, comes election. So, you know what, folks, gentlemen, let's put something in place. Whether we are in or we are out, something will still be there. What is there for the ordinary staff or monitor of their offices? Some of them living Ghana, struggling, getting them by. They don't even give them ride. They don't even give them lunch. And you come here. Look, janitor, are you talking with Kumis or what?
No. I'm trying to share our
Oh no, don't worry. Our people, don't worry. We don't have to get Chinese people or Pakistani to something. People that
Mr.
are like
So, before you bring Janitor in,
no, wait,
may
wait,
I make one
hold
thing
on,
clear,
hold on.
please?
Can,
Because you guys are misconstruing what I'm saying.
but so you want to sanction my voice? I'm talking. I'm not. You
I'm a
talk.
liberal. Those are conservative ideas. I don't sanction people. I
I
allow people
think
to speak freely.
they are liberal. You know what liberal. They were given what what was this? The liberal gives stimulus check here, but your own liberal idea. You give the elite liberal stimulus check, and you don't even want to give the ordinary people. That you say liberal. You're not liberal.
Are
You are.
you running for office? If you're running for office, I will support you like I did with many people who
I don't,
ideas that I
I
support.
don't
I
need
will
your.
support them with my
I don't
money.
need your support because the reason is simple. Because if you supporting, if I'm doing something out of the way, you would not look in my face and tell me what I'm doing is wrong. And that's the kind of person you are. So I don't need your support.
Okay, but let me make this point, Jay, please, before you come in. The point that I'm making, I think you people are not getting it, is this: the idea of our people suffering right now, fine, but in any kinds of policy, they have short term and they have long term. So I'm speaking with respect to long term for the future. Now, the bill can be tied to, let me make that again. I believe, I could be wrong, but it can be tied to future money generating factors. And it doesn't have to be right now because we cannot afford it. I agree with you. But for you to say because we cannot afford it right now and these people should not be thinking outside of the box, that is what I disagree with. Go ahead, Jay, please.
Firstly,
Wow. Something to the hell of a man. Wow. Unbelievable.
I see a politician on there. Oh, don't see him if you do a thing. Oh, it's a serious, how to spin it. But on a friend note, for
I can't
a
believe.
subject matter to turn into an urgency, it must have a wisdom, or else we are wasting useful time on that subject matter. And that's why I say Mr. Cummings is best suited to be president because he's ready to invest our time on a conscious note, using his energy and his exuberance with tact and wisdom, adding innovation to managing the affairs of our country. When our lawmakers select or elect for themselves to place an urgency on an already existing instrument that former lawmakers are benefiting from, there is two things that I will be telling you on. One, that they want to create security for themselves,
Exactly.
which is the obvious, or two, that they just decide deliberately to waste our time for something that should not be discussed. And if they chose to waste our time, then there's a reason why we should provide this education, that when you go into the House of Representatives, I wish to retire there. When Mr. Cummings has assumed his responsibility as president, after his 6 years, as a former staffer of the House of Representatives and the Senate, I wish to retire at the Liberian Senate, House of Representatives, after I contributed my quota to our people. But this is the count. We should not go there because we want to make money.
Okay.
You should not go there because you don't know what the pay is, then you get discouraged, you get there, you get a pay, then you want to take all the money using any other instrument to collect money on. You should go there because you have been through the trenches, you have been advocating, you have been a student leader, you understand what it means to stand for the people.
So Dolake, let me ask you here because you two now, I'm not a friend with all of you guys here because all of you politicians, you're like this sort of a salad dressing and some sort of quick fix which is not a quick fix. Let me ask you, and I want you to be honest, look in the eyes of this camera here because you're a strong ANC supporter. Does the party have some sort of leverage, authority over these people that are represented or those that were elected as party members to this very position, as far as you are concerned?
Yes, as far as I'm concerned. But let me
Okay.
digress.
No, hold on. Yeah, don't do it. Hurry. I'm asking you. Say yes.
Yes.
Do they after section, because they more or less is the institution's ideology, the objective of the institutions that are representing. You're talking about coming. So I want to know, was there any prior conversation, because your party chairman penned that letter as well, which I'm concerned with. And if he's to be a change agent, if he's to be the guy to change the narrative, if he's the guy to undo this sort of culture that we are talking about here, I want to know whether that was in consultation with the party's political ideology, whatever he did.
Thank you. And that's why I was just trying to digress to very quickly. Look, I look straight into this camera. Many of the instruments that we resisted during the CPP term came as a means of our scrutiny. And we objected to national government, even if they went ahead with it. History will record that we objected to it. In this particular instance of the pension scheme, we did not play due diligence to it as a political party. And there where I think we take some responsibility. Because
And
when
what
the
next? Just not only taking responsibility, what did your party's tenor bearer, what is he doing, or what is the executive doing? That's your chairman. It's
that's what I'm
equivalent
saying.
to, yeah,
What we are doing right now
mhm.
is to first record the instrument, validate it for the Liberian Senate, because they are arguing that it is not the instrument that is sent. Validate which one of it is the genuine instrument that it claimed that is signed onto. Evaluate that instrument, and pair my guess. I'm speaking politically, so you can guess what will be the outcome. What we are hearing and what is assumed to be in that.
What are you hearing from it? Why are you hearing from the corridor of ANC? That's what is their position? You have your party chairman. Do not twist and reconstruct this narrative, Mr. Dolake. You have your party chairman. Your party chairman ultimately drives the agenda of your tenor bearer. And he being in the upper house of government, it's a big deal. And yet we are talking about this here, and you're coming back, you're trying to walk back to say, okay, he will be the one to change it. He has his emissary there now. I would say his emissary is in the Senate now, who more or less he's doing with our more members in that. And here we are, and you can't tell us that he has discussed anything with the party or the party definitive position of his behavior as well, he being the opposition. And they can tell us how that whole thing was originated, who is the author. We should be pondering, we should be wondering, not you.
Yes,
So
and
do you know who is the author of that?
I don't know who's the
Do you
author,
care, to know?
why, and that is why it is concerning. That is why in my public statement I've said I given much more reason why the legislature should be audited. If the spokesperson of the legislature would say they are accusing the House of Representatives or even staff of the Liberian Senate of disseminating wrong information, it's concerning. That is for the spokesperson of the Senate. What I am trying to avoid, and let me let it out quickly, is that the people you are interacting with are politicians. Many of them have so many years to their credit, knowing political activities. If you go at them and say, because Senator Nathan, you are a chairman, he will say, as far as concerned, the bill was a good instrument. If you ask him why he didn't bring it to the party, he said, because I felt I was taking a referendum decision in the interest of legislature.
So
I'm coming. Let me let my thought take it ask me. I'm just being human. That's what I'm trying to say. That the bill was in the interest of anybody who will become a lawmaker, not necessarily the ANC member. There where I'm holding the party, the ANC, an opposition
you're not
party.
holding the party enough.
I'm coming. I'm holding the party responsible because when the president wrote his instrument, it doesn't happen in America yet. The president communicated his instrument, what he wanted the legislature to come back to special session for. He wrote out everything. Our party responsibility was to critique everything and present it to our legislative agenda that this is our position on each of these things. We did not do that.
Your party did that?
We did not fulfill it.
But okay,
Because
before I bring in the, you've been circumstantial here in your judgment against the intent. You have not asking, you have not told us whether the ANC hurricane has called him out to say, hey, what's going on? Why you didn't brief or why you didn't, how this happened? Tell us. We need more detail. You are in a consequential process. You are seeking, you posting yourself as an alternative to the CDC, which is okay. But all what you're saying here, you've been circumstantial that when you're asking, this is what you will say, this is what he will be telling you. Is that a fair judgment on?
no, it's not a fair judgment. What we try to do in our country is that we only want to put the burden on our lawmakers. Don't like it. I just want to digress a little. It's on record for writing a formal communication that is on Facebook since 2000.
We're not talking. Dolake is not in the picture. It's not in the press right now.
I know I'm coming. I just want to set up basic. It will not take long. On 200 million that was spent by the Madam Sally government for lobby. And have what lawmakers. What I'm saying here to you is that you don't tell me that the instrument that the president wrote the legislature, the political party never have mandate to have waiting to her lawmakers and said, this is our position, and leave it with them. And say, I assume that you make it in our interest. That's not how it works. At the CPP then, we were requesting our lawmakers, that CTM, we don't want it. That instrument, we disagree with it. So if you went against it, then we take action. That's how we're looking at it.
What you are doing here,
Mr. So
you are reconstructing the crime scene here this evening. Let me bring in the liberal.
Yeah, I really don't get your line of questioning, and I also don't get the line of answering from the analyst himself, because it seemed to me you're asking him a question that perhaps will make him, and he's doing just that. Look, it's a political party. But the political party alone did not brought these people into existing. These people campaign, and they have constituency besides the hierarchy of the political party. So what Jonathan and you, both of you are doing right now is to circumvent the entire process from my perspective. For example, Jonathan, you're saying to Jonathan what your party going to do, and Jonathan say, well, we're going to have to call our people and say, this is what we want. You are not the only constituents of this political party. I mean, legislature, number one. Second thing is this. This man, whoever it is that is representing the party member from ANC and now has become a senator. He has people that he has to answer to. The voters, the hierarchy of ANC. You're starting. That's how y'all do the business. Jonathan. Because what we want. What's about the rest of the people? You're just small group on top, and you want the senator to listen to you and not listen to the masses. Is that what ANC gonna give us? I feel you guys, for some reason, I don't agree with that at all. I think the senator and his colleague, they need to discuss. You, ANC, and your hierarchy, the executive committee, this is not a puppet master that you're running. I hope not. I hope you don't consider yourself the puppet. I mean, the master of the puppets of whoever is in the Senate. This is exactly what you're laying out here, because the executive are now asking the senator, this is what they wrote, bring it to us, we'll read it, and then if we don't like it, we tell you to do executive. How many of you in the executive? Not more than 50, 60 the most. And you want that senator to make law based on the executive of ANC. But that's what you just said.
That's not what I'm saying.
That's what you just said. You just told us, Jonathan. Just told us that you want the mandate from the president sent to the Senate. The senator should bring that mandate for you guys to critique. That's not your job. That is not your job.
We are just one of the conscious and institutionalized.
But you're trying to utilize your position to frighten the senator.
No, we are putting on record.
When you put him on record, you're frightening the senator.
No, when President Sadi said, I come in small. When President Sadi said, I did not give it to them to take it. That formal notification. so that tomorrow you will know that this is what I was saying, given the economic performance of our country.
Yeah.
So
what role?
Party,
Tell me what role exactly ANC executives supposed to play in
the
this
role
whole
exactly ANC executives will play is to look at this pension scheme, the existing one, and see the wisdom behind why lawmakers want to increase the percentage.
And why if the executive don't agree with it? Then what?
When the executive don't agree with it, and something important thing, they say the voice of the minority should preserve, the will of the majority should preserve. So it is our responsibility to suggest
exactly as I predicted.
Suggest to the lawmakers that this is how we see it. Given the current reality.
You know what you got? You know what I suspect the ANC executive are doing? It's just a Bruno over here in New York, where he goes with baseball bat. Hey, they say you owe. What do you think? You want me to break your knee with my baseball bat, or you gonna pay? You can't have a government as such.
First of all,
so the Liberal is on the floor. The night is getting ready to rock right now because the Liberal is ready. Look, let me just tell you this quickly. Let me just tell you that, Mr. So, you cannot, and I hope ANC is not operating like that. These people were duly elected. Let them be themselves. They will come to you as an executive, I will hope. But not because you have to have, if you don't agree with the process the senator is doing, then you say, we will put him on record. Put him on record for what? What exactly is your point here by putting somebody else's on record? You put him on record, fine. So the next thing is what? You're going to now go and campaign against that person. What is it? Is that not some sort of a quick pro here, Mr. Panelist? I think you guys are now going that route, and I'm, as a liberal, I'm not comfortable with it at all.
Well, you should be comfortable. You are a wrong interpreter of this whole thing. You, the same person here just a few minutes ago, telling us, oh, even though it's a good, but it's not good at the time here, but that's something here. So then, where is the portion that these people, they should use their recess, they should use their break to have consultation with their various
Mr. So I think I said it as okay. Go ahead.
Can you give me a chance?
Okay, you have it. You have it.
Yeah, you are a wrong interpreter. You shouldn't even be talking this You shouldn't be part of this conversation here because you validated and accredited that sort of awkward behaviors by telling us here, oh, what they do is right, but it's not the right time, but they're doing it for other people. So if we throw this in your lap, you want it to be a continuing process. Those that we don't even know that are even competent or that are not even elected, you want to reward them for a lifetime. That's why you're telling us. That's your agenda. That's the conspiracy you are pushing here.
Thank you. Thank you for recognizing my talent. Thank you for recognizing my talent. And this is it. This is it, Mr. So. My point and my point have not changed. And I stated here that the law itself, if it was to pass, for me, it's a good law. However, it is just untimely. It's not ready. It's not time yet. Now, Mr. So, let me say this to you. What the ANC executives need to do is to bring the senator in a meeting and say, Mr. Senator, we want you to look around among the ANC young smart people to get yourself a staffer.
Who senator they should bring the meeting?
Whoever senator that is working with them.
You brought Darrell Dillon to a meeting?
Yeah, to have a meeting with him.
I mean, Darrell Dillon, Liberty Party.
Mr. So why are you bringing Liberty Party in this conversation right now? We're talking about ANC. So, that is something Louis Brown was saying. Your verb because I endorse Kumi. So now you want to flip it around now. You verb now because I'm talking about ANC. So you want to bring Liberty Party in it. Mr. So it's not going to work for me. I'm smarter than that.
You see the problem here now? You are suggesting that ANC should make one recommendation or two recommendations of a staff. But the whole ANC as an human resource,
you're not just an analyst, but I think you have a little bit of conservative idea on your side.
People with a background for the background managerial level, lawyers to sit down and scrutinize instrument and provide suggestions You say that imposing.
No.
But you want the party to suggest
If you going to Jonathan, you cannot provide a suggestion in that kinds of faction.
What's the
It is illegal as far as I'm concerned. It's not something that I would support. Let me lay my point here. What you probably need to do, ask this guy to find himself a staffer. What really messed them up is the fact that they did not have staffer that will go out and solicit view.
Let me
If he had a staffer, he didn't have to come to you, Jonathan. The staffer would have been the one to come to ANC and say, this is the issue we have. What is your suggestion? What do you want? And then you go back. But for you to say the senator must come to you for an advice, it is
issue. And I'm speaking with authority as a legislative research analyst.
Okay.
When we have the issue of
I give you that.
When we had the issue of Wabodiki, the CPP communicated from the desk of Mr. Ellis Cummings as a political party to the CPP lawmakers and to the chair on the committee that were confirming Wabodiki, the appointed of National Election Commission chair, National Elections Commission chair at the time. The facts that were presented by the ANC and the CPP at that time to J. Milton Tiaje, chairman of that committee, and I delivered that instrument to Milton Tiaje. That instrument gave reason why today we never had Wabodiki to be confirmed. And it has led to even the questionable level of Wabodiki. It is a legal right given us as political party to advise. That is why I said we hold ourselves responsible. And moving forward, we're going to work in line with the lawmakers in order to make sure we make our suggestion clear. If they will not agree with it, it will be a record that we have made.
Jonathan, then let me ask you a question. Let me ask you a question. With this kinds of process that you just lay out here, and somebody, Frederick, now I'm writing, and I just want to point out to Frederick very quickly, this is why we have a Republican Party that is so much in deep trouble, because they continue to rely on the conservatives, Sean Hannity type, and bring up bad ideas, and that's why they're in trouble. But let me ask you this, Jonathan. So I'm asking Jonathan a question. Jonathan, let me ask you this, because I'm here as a counterweight. Now I think Jonathan is a little bit getting closer to the conservative wing of this platform here. So I have to be very careful when I ask my question. Jonathan, let me ask you this. So with this thing that you just put out here, are you saying that the senator is beholden to the ANC hierarchy?
Thank you so very kindly.
You're welcome.
I'm of the clear view, which is highly legal and have a fair, equal representation, that the senator or the lawmakers of the legislature are part of the political organization and have obligation as equal as those lawmakers have obligation to their constituent. The difference is that the political party, based on its consciousness for power and as a government in waiting, has a technocrat arm that can ably advise, because those party members are the regular dwellers of community. They solicit their view for community. They listen to radio. They follow the persuasion of the people. And in their best interest, they will advise appropriately. So if you were to listen to the advice and match it with the constituent, you will make a fair analysis. And most instances,
so then let me ask you this. One more question. At what point do you, in fact, let me be ridiculous as well. And let me ask you this. The ANC hierarchy and the constituents that are down there, which one important to this senator?
Oh, the ANC hierarchy and the constituent. Which one of them are important?
Are they on the same level?
You asking whether they are on the same level?
Yes, in terms of the engagement today, your senator.
Let me answer it this way.
Okay.
The ANC constituent that advocate regularly on all national issues. represent the constituent of the ordinary people, and they are of power. In the disingenuous of the execution of the law, the ordinary people feel the pinch that more lawmakers will be taking benefits, their wife will be taking benefit in their death, their children will be taking benefit, and the country resource infinite does not match it. So it is the ordinary people's view.
I see. So the ANC has a hierarchy.
The ordinary people are not happy that lawmakers, former officials will be taking 50%.
I'm not disputing it. I'm not disputing it. What I'm trying for you to understand is that the hierarchy of ANC need to remove themselves between the lawmaker and the constituencies that are going to be voting for this lawmaker.
And that is why the lawmakers agree with ANC hierarchy during the Wabo Digi case to see a Nigerian or
and that's why he set a wrong example. He set a wrong
election commission. Our election that could create problems. Our election that if it's not transparent. Our election that una Wabo Digi alone live in our country. None of a family member in our country. He can have a questionable record. The ordinary people stood by our side when we question it and brought it to light.
And because of this, the senator acquiesced to you guys' request, for that reason, he set a bad precedent, and now he's suffering for it. But I will tell you this:
that's the mistake. The senator is not suffering right now. When the senator will suffer, any lawmaker will suffer.
Let's take a break.
When we decide to give them a suggestion, and they resist it, I will be one person leading that effort against some of my good friends.
Okay.
Let's take a break. Liberate and drink your palm wine. We'll be right back.
From the West African nation of Côte d'Ivoire, Liberia Public Radio and Television present Business Diary. This program focuses on the activities of business institutions and individuals in society.
I'm Jeremiah Zawu Senior, CEO of All Nation Bank. It has been very good to have this business established here. We are 1 year since we opened here in Anono. There have been few challenges here that have faced in this country, and that is all about the language. But here instead, I refuse to be deterred. I refuse to be discouraged. I open a business and things have been fine.
My name is Mercy Wangarilanga. I am a finance officer working for an international organization. I have a master's degree in business administration. So today I'd like to take the opportunity to talk to you about the COVID pandemic and how it has affected the business sector in terms of me working in an organization, an international organization.
Don't miss out. Be my guest. It's coming soon on Liberia Public Radio and Television.
Sorry. Libra, is a number available just in case for our folks? Can I put it up? Huh?
Yes, my number is available. In fact, it's up there. Go to the numbers and you should be able to see. Yeah, yes.
Okay, let me just put it here. Is it correct? 916-533-04. I mean,
916-533-2048. That's correct. Let me make sure it's connected.
Yeah, okay, please do, because I'm not.
Yeah, it is connected. They can call in.
All right, folks. I know we've been talking a lot here. Tonight is all things considered. Perhaps you don't have to consider what we are talking about here, but there are other burning issues that you want to speak to address, and all of that. The number is there. Just call the Liberal. I do not call the 682 number. It's not connected here this evening, so I'm not using it. So we are using the 682 number. But Jenentano, what the Liberal is not telling us as well, and he's trying to shy with A here, and he thinks that he just want to throw the red meat, saying here he's not telling about his own guy whether there have been any consultation inside as well. And this is the problem, because part of their job here, part of their job is they are paid. They need to be having consultation with their various constituents when it comes to this crucial thing. It's not happening, and there's no indication that it will even ever happen. It's a total disrespect. People that elected you, you represent them, you should be their voice. all of us and all of them can go Capitol Hill there. You dare to proxy their affairs, to speak for them, to stand for them. But that's not what they are doing. Literally, they are just there for themselves. As long as it's okay with them, and the liberal come here, he want to be two-sided. Yes, this bill here is a good thing, but not at the right time. Yeah, it's a good thing they try to reward themselves for 50 years, 100 years to come, and you're giving it backing. How many of them, if you ask them, how many of them ever had a public discussion with their constituencies and they would say, okay, yeah, go ahead. When the social security is in a turmoil, when ordinary people can't even struggle to get ends meet to eat, you don't have to hold your head. I don't think you're having a headache. And so I don't know why you want to throw this thing at Janetton alone when it's right in your own lap and you don't even want to address it.
So because we're this, why you want to bring up we're discussing ANC?
No, no,
And
no.
I'm
It's not
simply
ANC.
saying,
We are discussing
okay, that's
national
fine.
issues.
But the way that this thing's supposed to work, it's not the hierarchy that's supposed to hold the feet of the legislature to the fire. It is that I
Okay,
believe
tell us the Liberty Party version of it.
no, I don't have Liberty Party because I'm not Liberty Party US. I mean, I'm not Liberty Party Liberia. I'm Liberty Party US, and we don't have no senator or representative here in the USA
There you
representing
go.
Liberty Party USA. So I can't
Okay.
tell you much about Liberty Party Liberia. But what I want to say here on a very serious note, Mr. So, is this: the hierarchy of a political party. I do agree they have a substantial a role to play in terms of legislation and what have you that will be in the interest of Liberian people because they also the political party themselves they represent a party which the party have members and they're speaking for the members. I understand that, but my point is it doesn't pass a smell test if you going to hold the senator or the representative to put him on record, as Jay said, to say, okay, these are let's see, the president wrote these mandate. Let's review it. And when the president and when the hierarchy from ANC review it, they'll come out to say these are our recommendations. I hope they will say recommendation. I'm not going to use the word what Jay have used or put them on record, but it will be recommendation. I will hope because recommendation is something that you're giving to the senator to either accept or reject. But when you say you're putting them on record, and I mean that's something different. But the point here is this, Mr. So.
No, I'm not cutting off. I said recommendation, suggestion. When you
Okay.
reject it already on record.
Oh,
That will
okay.
give you all the reason.
Okay, all right.
Yeah.
But I still frown on it because as a liberal, I think these people that are being elected must be allowed to be themselves. Now, if they come to you, which I hope they will, for consultation, then perhaps these suggestions and recommendation can be made. That just be made in that there will be a clear understanding that these are just suggestions. You as a senator, duly elected, you have the mandate of the people. You have to do what is in the interest of the people. But for you to because every time when you do that, you have these senators now looking backward, looking behind them. Oh, I better do this here. Oh, and they are not themselves. If that's the case, let ANC come out. They are the senators, and let them go in
Uh,
as a political senator. Or what? But you don't have that.
Jennifer, I don't know why you're allowing this guy to just be throwing it. When I throw at him, then he's trying to run and try to throw at you because
No,
you want
no,
to get
Mister. So I'm
something.
simply saying to you. What I'm saying to you here, Mister. So is this: as a senator, or yeah, I'm sorry that I'm making you to drink a lot of water here tonight. I'm very sorry about that. I think
Oh,
I will try not to be this much liberals on your little conservative side that I just discovered here tonight. I will try to take it easy with you. So I will don't drink too much water. Okay, no, but on a very serious.
that little Michael.
Yeah. On a very serious note, no, on a very serious note, Mr. So, it is good to know as a political party, because you invest in these senatorial elections and what have you. And so, if your guy wins, you will hope that the guy will be able to work with you in collaboration on collaborate on a lot of issues that will benefit the people. I understand all of that, but it should not be the duty of the hierarchy to say, to look at what you got there, bring it here, let's look at it. Oh, that was let's look at it right now. No, if the man decided he don't want to come to you to talk to you, it should be okay as well. If the man were to make a decision that way, for example, in this situation, the hierarchy of ANC will be in their right to speak for the people, to speak for the partisan. Their disagreement will be put that right there in front of the senator. But my argument is, you should not have some sort of a senate, you demanding the man to come for consultation. This is not Politburo here. Liberia is not like Soviet Union. This is not Politburo, where or China Politburo. This is the democracy. This man was elected. He must be allowed to be himself.
Wow. You got China now?
And I'm getting a little discouraged, because it's like either it's a deliberate attempt to not understand my position, or it's well calculated to either equate my position or the position of lawmakers of the opposition. Is that on the ANC? What I think should be our responsibility after 175 years lagging behind the rest of the world is to deal with situation with a sense of urgency. Is it urgent to have a pension scheme of 50% to lawmakers who are no longer working against the revenue envelope of our country? Does it match it scientifically? That question, if we were to answer it, is X.
Can he answer that question, Janitor? The Liberal, can he answer that question, please? Maybe
I think I won't make it rhetorical, because I don't want him to answer it, because he will veer from the
he doesn't have an answer. He doesn't have.
No, but what was the question? What make you think the Liberal don't have
no?
no
I see a question is rhetorical. It's not necessary for the.
What was the question anyway? I'll come back to that. What was the question?
The question is rhetorical. The question is, against our revenue envelope that some planes have stopped coming to our country. We have a single air seaport that is ready functioning for commercial purpose. We have a manager that has been questioned by sanction of getting involved into money laundering. That by itself has crippled that portion of the image of that economy. We have a judicial system that is under question, meaning that more investors will not be coming in so that we can create employment for school-going children. We lawmakers, we decide to take as an urgency on our part to give a staggering figure to our pension scheme. We say if that question was a question as to whether it would be checked or marked negative, we all here we agree that we mark negative because it doesn't match against our revenue envelope of the country.
I agree.
So if we agree on that one, then we come to one matter of urgent nature for which our colleagues or our people, our senior brothers, our senators, our lawmakers have to take such a decision. I don't think it was any urgent.
Jonathan.
I finally want to say that we are 175 years beyond the rest of the world. Anything that we want to do, we must treat it with a sense of urgency. And to treat it with a sense of urgency, we must have wider consultation about it. We are not taking ourselves superior or our lawmakers.
Jonathan,
our lawmakers consultation.
Jonathan, your consultation, ANC consultation with the lawmaker, is a wonderful idea. However, it is been implemented wrongly, I would say, my opinion. Now, what I think ANC, with all of the intellectual among ANC.
Yeah, give me one historical wrong of the implementation. And I will give you one more good thing about it. that are happening historically.
Okay, drink some water first.
You know, our Sacramento, California hot.
You align, you playing into the narrative of this liberal here
So,
tonight.
Jonathan, here's what I'm saying. ANC has some serious intellectual among you, highly educated. Now, you want to take state power, in which I hope that you would do take state. I hope for you to take state power because you do a wonderful thing. I agree. Now, what I thought need to happen here is for ANC to champion the consultation process, for ANC to champion that process be broad. Send it out to the entire policy makers so they will involve stakeholders and all of the community dwellers, leaders, so they can have some sort of a gathering or a hearing, and let it be part of the process. Whenever they come up with a major bill or intending to bring in a major, let them have a hearing. That is the thing ANC need to push. And ANC should not take this wonderful idea and keep it on her arms. Let ANC export that out so that everybody will benefit for your wonderful idea. But if you keep it indoor, then you're trying to play puppet master.
So
Okay.
this is the historical count, because we say we have to be educative, we have to be informative about the issue. The reason I asked a question whether there were any historical count that we are not doing it in that manner. He did not list it, but he agreed that we should have wider consultation. One of the consultation that we had under the belt of Mr. Cummings was about Wabodiki. We went as far as the Nigerian law and brought facts and presented it to the chairman on that committee. And because of our facts that we didn't have, we shared with the rest of the Liberians, and it was on record that what Wabodiki was rejected on the facts. That's how we operate.
Thank you.
Okay, I think you will still have a lot to go. We hit on it yesterday, but we didn't talk. We still have a few more minutes here because we're going to be having on Sunday. So it's still all ANC affair. Okay, Madam Tala, she was on the sister network this evening. Victoria Tala Kokwe is contesting for Moserado. Jonathan, let me ask you, there is out there top executives, decision maker, influencers of within the ANC giving support to women pay to the extent that women pay will bring in political dividends to ANC political leader Alexander Cummings, with the possibility of the extent of even making him to win to get something good out of Moserado and that of Nima County. We have a communication. I will try to reach out to the author of that communications in the interest of fairness as well. Maybe there's I'm not understanding the interpretation how he sees it from the political world, perhaps different. If it is true that an executive of your party is seeking for this high-profile position, and another decision maker of the party to say, hey, let's twist the car around. Let's go it this way here. Does that add up? Or is it even true? Have you heard that within your party as well?
As far as I'm concerned, such an information, I take it to be a gossip. I've said to you here, I've defended Madam Victoria, Wiley, without any discounting.
But there's a communication to that. Have you seen that communication?
That's why I say, as far as I see it as a gossip.
The communication?
I will not want to elevate it. As far as it is, I'm concerned, and the entire Alternative National Congress is concerned, the aspirants for the Alternative National Congress that have remained always and very focused in selling herself have been Madam Victoria Kwekwe, who is also the deputy vice chair for our party. Mr. Cummings has said the tank is open. Liberians from all walks of life should come on board. We don't need people to join our party in order to support us. You can remain within your party, you can remain an ordinary Liberian, but all we want is to support Mr. Cummings. Mr. Wimampe is such a wonderful brother, but he's not in our party, and we cannot take him over our party person. If he should join our party, if he should collaborate with our party, and it become a formal conversation, then it is another conversation altogether. As it is right now, Victoria remain the lone experience of the ANC and the CPP when it comes to menstruating until we can see someone come out within the CPP.
So the communication deriving from the mobilization chair of your party, the guy who's going to oversee mobilizing people, get them to the polls to create an excitement, to build up the base, saying stuff like that, you say it's a gossip?
If he said the mobilization chair, if you are speaking to Anthony Lawrence Swire, if he made any statement of that nature.
Not on a statement, a write out. And
if he had any writing of that nature to suggest to us that we should prefer taking on a non-member of our party who is not a card-bearing member, who we've had no consultation with, to abandon one of our kind, I think if I were to see such statement, I'll be responding to it, and that will not be the aspiration of the ANC member. And I think if he made that statement, I think he will not hold himself responsible that it was an elementary statement. In my capacity as a political actor in our country and as a legislative analyst, I would think that if you think that one person seems to be stronger than the other person, the best thing you can do as a lobbyist is to making sure that you bring both folks together, have consultation with them, talk about their strengths and their weaknesses, and see how you can harness in order to come with a single slate by consultation. Then you make it as a formal suggestion, knowing where they agree on or what they agree on. But to just come out in any red out and say one of our kind that have been selling herself, marketing her idea, does not match it, I think it is more of a joke. And such a joke is not required of a serious politician. So if Mr. Suwa said it, I think he was saying it from probably a joke. And we can joke all we can, all we want, but we have to be serious about our country and how we want to win people over to our party. We have to be mature. I think Lawrence, if he said that, he would know as a lawyer it was lacking consultation. It was not representation of the kind of person people would believe him to be. It does not even show that he can mobilize. Because if you can mobilize, you will first consult with the person you want and let him have a reason. Then you sit the two of them sit on the table and say, look, Victoria, you my party and let you. Women, I want you to join a party. But I want between the both of you, you come with pluses and minuses. How we can tap on it so that one of you can represent the CPP is something I'm looking up to. Then it gave reason for conversation. But to come from the blue sky, that thing I got it. Lawrence who I think we say you know the one I read that thing.
Okay. The Liberal.
No comment.
No what? Statement finished?
Yes, on this one, I will let Jonathan voice be the only voice on that.
Oh, what's a good nice way of smoking pipe, which is not guaranteed whether that pipe he will even answer that pipe. Okay, so what you make of her contestant? Most of rather that seems to be a kind of like house of ground. There are a lot of folks gonna be in that. What do you think her chances are?
Like I said previously, her chances are good. She comes from the, you remember the legislature had just passed the 30% bill. Look, for no fairness, the United Nations, for example, if I were to be given the chance to set an example, most of the time recruit women for each driver. The wisdom behind it is that in most instances, the women will be taking care of the car. They will not want it to damage. They will be cordial. And generally, women vehicle last for a longer time because they are careful and mindful. On a general note, women obviously want to keep that reputation. And that is why, as a global phenomenon, people are encouraging more women to participate in national leadership because they are the first teacher of the children. They are the first teacher of the home. They keep the home. They will be able to manage the resources of our country and keep it to its viable level. Two, she comes from a background. She's a Muslim. It gave her added, value because in most instances, people from the Muslim background are kept in the back in most instances or in the past. But nowadays, we're seeing those women coming up and they are playing leadership role, which is good for our society. It's telling us that we are evolving, we are changing over a period of time. She also brings the value that she understands the reality on ground. And when she answering the question, later I listened to her spoon, she will speak of what will you do? What do you think of the pay of the legislature? She says she wants to see what it is because she doesn't know. She doesn't want to make an elusive statement without knowing what is at hand. It is important for us. Some of our lawmakers, they think that getting to the legislature is just about money. At the end of the day, they get that, they can get the money. Then they take any envelope to pass any bogus agreement against the will and aspiration of Liberians. So she come with the fair understanding. When they ask her about the instrument at the legislature, she's saying that she want to take a very careful look at some of those bills where a falls in line, she will continue with it. But if the enforceable aspect is not to that effect, she will see reason why it should be amended to be enforceable, and where it is not good for the general welfare of Liberians, should be requesting repeal of those instruments. So this is how you go in the legislature with an open mind, then putting tag on things and saying things that at the end of the day you will not be able to do. So I see her as a fair communicator. She has made her position clear, and Ms. O'Reilly is the consciousness of our country. And in most instances, in a general election, it is not a good place for the ruling establishment, according to historical accounts that we have seen. The historical account proves that the ruling establishment doesn't really perform in Mesurado, especially with the brouhaha that we have had, ranging from sanction, reaching for a lot of misgivings, corruption, and other things. I think she's well positioned, like many other candidates, to contest against Sir Joseph.
Okay, well, we will see how it looks like. Well, it's almost 10:15. We're gonna bring the curtain to a closure here this evening, and hopefully, Libra, what are you doing tomorrow?
Tomorrow I'm going to be going into the Ralphie Highway discussion and everything else with lots of engineering drawings and engineering construction processes and what have you. And then we're hoping that our brothers and sisters will see reason that they will change course before they damage that road completely, because what they're doing right now is unacceptable. And we're going to be showing different. Not only will I show the bad road construction process, but I will also show and whatever that I'm going to be showing, they're all on YouTube. Anybody can access those YouTube and be able to follow me tomorrow.
Okay. All right. Jonathan, what should be the take-home message this evening?
The take-home message for me this evening is that we are 175 years behind the rest of the world. We don't have time to be postponing crucial national issues. We must treat Liberia with a sense of urgency. We must be practical about what we want to collectively to use as a collective gain on a part of our country, and we must be surgical about the decision that we take and the benefits thereof for the greater interest of our people than just our individual self, because our country will continue to live after us, and what the decision that we make today will affect our people positively. The decision America has made in the past is what has set the agenda for the transformation they have today, is what has set the agenda for Guinea, is what has set the agenda for Ghana. And so we can emulate by making rightful decisions. Our lawmakers cannot be taking 1 ton salary more than Congress members. Our speakers cannot be taking 1 ton salary more than Congress speaker. And then we are a poor nation. We don't have anything, no system put into place. It does not say much about us. The more we give to our people, then we can increase more for ourselves. When our people are happy, they themselves will advocate that our lawmakers should be given decency. But our people cannot be hungry, living in squalor lives. And then we are there wanting to take most of it and not giving them what they deserve. I think that it is wrong today. It is wrong tomorrow. I want to see my colleagues at the legislature getting a bus that kept it rolling and they're going to drop there. Like I saw with Nigerians in Port Harcourt 2004, 2004, 2022. Our staffers don't have buses to carry them home. It is disappointing.
Mr. So, one other thing here, observation, please, if you don't mind.
Sure, go ahead.
I think ANC had within the last week or so. I think ANC, if we're not careful, they're going to leave us behind. And they're gonna leave us in the dust. Just observation. And I'm sure Louis Brown is not going to be the only person. I think Louis Brown going to quickly open the floodgate here, where a lot of former government officials, clean or not, they will be getting on. And I think Dr. Weah and CDC will recognize very quickly that they need to upgrade their games and not just sit back. So I think it's going to be interesting. However, what I also want to point out here, point the observation as well, and that will be the National Election Commission shortening the time of how do you call it, campaign. I think it's going to be detrimental if they accept it, and I think that's going to create a lot of people, because the politician will definitely violate the rules. The 1 month it's not going to be sufficient for a Liberian politician. So I just thought that I point those things out quickly here. But congratulations to ANC. I think and I'm speaking as somebody who considered himself to be neutral. I think ANC is really getting on. And one of the things that I think is happening is that Cummins is telling folks, join me, but you join me with clean hands. Other than that, we have no place. And I think that message is getting through. So I hope that he'll be successful as well. I thought I'd point that out.
Okay, the Liberal Progressive, thank you so much, Jonathan. I see it. I saw into it. He could not be with us tonight, obviously. But we'll watch to see the exhibitions of this whole Rabble Field Highway. What is the essence of it? What is your target goal?
Excuse me?
I'll say how are you talking about tomorrow? You're going to exhibit this Rabble Field Highway, right?
Right.
Yeah, I'm wondering, what is your goal? What is the strategy behind it?
Well, my intent is not to degrade or just point out the fault, but I also want to educate. I want to help them through my lecture and what have you. I want to point out some of the things that they're doing, and this is not just a farm to market road. This is a gateway to the country. It should be considered a major highway, and the way it's being constructed is unacceptable. So my intent here is not just to shift blame or what have you, but to point out things that are done wrongly and how they ought to be the correct way to do it. So I will be playing both
Are
of
you
them.
still willing to help if there was some sort of genuine intervention coming from the part of GOL?
If I were to be invited, not to take any kinds of position, I don't want job. All I can say is, if I was to be invited, I'd rather come in and help to train the young inspectors, because I cannot work with a contractor, and the contractor has a right to cut corners if you want. It is the job of the inspectors to make sure contractors are not cutting corners, are not providing some substandard material. And so if I were to ask, that's the role that I would like to play, to help the young people, to show them how to look out for suitable material, how to inspect, and how those material that are being brought in, if they are not suitable, how to make sure those things are taken care of. That's the kind of role that I want to play. But I don't want to work for any government as a way of saying I want a position. No, I don't want to do that.
Quality assurance.
Okay, well, I mean, you have before. He intervened before they design, went back there to tutor the engineer. So that's another thing. But the idea, I don't want to work. I don't want. This is what I disagree with people. I don't know why people are afraid to work for their country. And I know it's kind of like difficult depending who you want to work with. All of that factor in. But I don't think we should. I say we don't want to work for our country. If one says that, then it gives me the thought like, is he not trusted? Or when he goes there, he doesn't have the guts to stand up to say, oh, I'm going to do the right thing. But that's a different thing. Gentlemen, I want to thank you so much for your expertise. We will be back here again Friday, the coming week, and then Sunday, our special guest going to be here.
Friday, that's not your time. You can't count on Friday.
Wait.
That's my time.
I
You
mean,
count on Friday.
this is not Susu Club we're running. I said Friday we would be here. Then he said that I'm my time, that your time. Where you come from with the mom? What? This old man here, I don't know. Yeah.
I heard you and Antonio, who is another tough guy for LPI, are planning to somehow retire me before I even put in the request. Is it true?
Of course, and that's a good strategy from the Sierra Leoneans. They don't psych. They don't give you compulsory leave study. When you go now, UK, don't lie for you. Whether you go study, you're not go study. That's your business no more. So when you go there now, you want study fine. You're not study fine. All right, gentlemen, thank you so much.
Okay.
And to our men,
Jay, thank you very much, guys. Thank you.
Thank you so much for hanging in with us. Let us keep praying for our country, and we're doing everything possible in the coming days or week. We will be in Liberia. We're still working on the technical details, and as soon everything is finalized, we're going to be coming to right here. The Liberal, thank you so much. Jonathan, thank you so much for your time. So is now here with us. The man from the far left, right, Amos George, is not here. Amos George said he on a campaign so Bon County people can vote. So I said, but go there. You want to be in Georgia there, enjoying yourself, and you say you want to talk to people. Go. You said, man, go there.
Go there. All right. Good night, Mr. So.
All right. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.